All right, welcome to the channel, guys. I'm Danny Malcolm. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. Today I'm going to be talking about how the body moves in the golf swing, and in particular the tilts during the swing, why it's important, and a couple of wonderful drills that can help you get the body moving correctly. So important that we get the body moving right, because if that moves right, then the club and the arms can move in a better way as well. So think of it like a car, the body being the engine and the hands and arms being the steering. So if the body moves correct, or if the engine's working well, then we're going to be able to drive that thing where we want it to go. So when I talk about body tilts, what am I talking about? Well, if I just demonstrate here, you've got a few things happening in the golf swing with the body. First thing is we have left side bend or tilt to the left. We also have right side bend. We also have, from this view, flexion forward, and we have extension backwards, and we also have rotation in the swing. So we have all these three things happening throughout the swing, consciously or unconsciously. That's just happening to create solid golf shots. So we need a correct blend of all three. So if you just think of just rotation alone, for example, if I was playing baseball where the ball was up here, then I could just have rotation, no problem. I could be swinging here and I could just rotate on that plane, not a problem. However, golf, the ball is on the ground. So with the ball being on the ground, there's going to be that inclination, our body is going to be inclined to the ground in this fashion. So I'm already setting up in forward flexion or forward bend. So I've got that set up. Now, if I just rotate from there, you'll see what happens. If I just rotate, I'm going to move way off the ball. So from this view, I'm just going to move way off the ball. That's going to really compromise my contact. And the important thing about getting these tilts correct is so that we can create solid contact and that compression on that ball on the ground. So to do that, we're going to need to get some tilts in. So if we just, again, if you imagine a circle around my head from this view, as we move back, if I just rotated from this forward bend position, my head's going to move off the golf ball, out of the circle. It's going to make a lot of work to do to get back, and oftentimes you're probably going to hit the ground before. So let's speak about the tilts that we'd like to see in the swing. So just to demonstrate, I'm just going to put an alignment rod across my shoulders. You can just use a golf club as well. So we start off in forward bend. This is our setup position. So to stay in posture, we're going to need some tilts as we go back. So what happens in the backswing is starting forward bend, and we get a bit of rotation to the right, then we add in a little bit of side bend and a little bit of extension backwards, rotate to the right, side bend, extension, rotation, side bend, extension, and all of a sudden this gets us in this position that keeps us very, very centered in a good turn but on a good tilt. So I've maintained that inclination to the ground. So from this view, as I go back, and this is all happening as a blend. Obviously I'm going through in slow motion here, but we've got, again, forward bend, rotation, side bend, extension, rotation, side bend, extension, and all of a sudden that puts us in this position where it looks like we've stayed in posture, but we've tilted and our left shoulder's gone down. And if you get that in the correct amount, that's going to keep your head relatively centered over the ball. So that's the backswing, and having the correct blend of those three is super important, because if I do too much of one, for example, if I stay in forward bend and don't get enough side bend or extension backwards, again I'm going to be moving off the ball. Vice versa, if I do too much the other way, so if I go too much left side bend, too much extension, rotate, too much left side bend, too much extension, now all of a sudden I'm actually this side of the circle and putting pressure on my lower back. That's more what we call reverse spine angle. So that's not what we want either. So it's having the blend of those three working correctly so that you can stay relatively centered over the ball. So that would be the backswing, and the way to check that really is just having the camera in front of you like this, or in a mirror, and just trying to see and drawing some circles if you can to get that right amount. And if you get too much side bend, so if I'm going back and I tilt too much to the side, now I'm actually losing my height. So from this view, you'll see if I tilt too much to the side Now I'm coming down too much. So you can see why it's important to get the correct amount in the backswing. So that's with the backswing there, super important. Now, as it comes to the downswing, then I would always start with the backswing first. That's super important to get right first. But in the downswing, we replace all three of those again with the opposite. So if I demonstrate here, so let's assume you've got a beautiful backswing here, your body's worked nicely, and just speaking into that in a minute with your knee flex before I move on to the downswing, just note, to allow that to happen, just note what has to happen to my knees as I go back. So notice how my left knee or my lead knee gains some flexion, so it gains some bend, and my trail knee actually straightens slightly, so that facilitates the body to be able to tilt in that direction. If you keep those where they are, it's going to be very difficult to do that, and you're probably going to be too much of this flat shoulder playing on the way back. So just allow your legs to do what they need to do to accommodate this tilt in the top of the backswing. So now moving into the downswing. So as we take our setup again, we've got our backswing, we've stayed nice and centered, so that's got to come first. Then on the downswing, what we need to be doing as we come into the ball is we start to actually replace that with some right side bend and some more right side bend, some extension, right side bend, extension, and that gets us into this position at impact where left ear is pretty much over the ball for an iron. So again, we don't want too much forward bend here, that's going to put us too far ahead of it, and vice versa, we don't want too much right side bend or too much extension backwards. So you're going to be too far behind it, your low point's going to be back here, you're going to probably hit the ground before. So you can see how it's just having that right amount of all of those three together to get into the correct impact position. So as we come down again, we're replacing this left side bend and extension with a little bit of forward bend, right side bend, forward bend, right side bend, extension. We sort of go through this pattern to get us to the impact. So from here, we'd be looking like we've stayed in posture. So from this view, in a downswing, right side bend, extension, and now we're starting to get in this position where it looks like we've stayed more in posture, but really we're just in our correct tilts. And we stay in that position through to about just post impact, and then we come up into full extension into the finish, nice and tall. But that's what we mean when we're saying stay in posture. It's meaning that we're getting the tilts correct at the right timing into impact and then through. So super important when it comes to quality ball striking and making solid contact on that golf ball. A couple of drills here I'd love to speak to that's really going to help with that. I mean, the first one, very simple, is you can just get a golf club across your chest again, and views from this view probably first is easiest. So if that's my golf ball there, I'm setting up to it. As we make a backswing, you want basically the grip end of that club to feel as though it's working down to the golf ball. Now you're never going to get it actually pointing at the golf ball, that's too much. It'll be pointing just outside the ball's target line there, and that's plenty of tilt there. What you don't want to see is this thing coming very level. That's a very more flat shoulder plane. It's going to make it very challenging to get that solid contact back to the ground. So we've got to maintain that inclination to the ground by tilting correctly. So that would be the backswing, simple way to do it. And on the downswing, same thing, you can get a golf club again, and from here, just get it sticking out of your shoulder there, your trail shoulder, and get that golf club or the leading edge kind of matching your spine. There's a good indicator there. So it's along my shoulders here. Now as I make the swing, I've made the backswing. On the way down now, the goal is to try and get that club face to the ball. Now to do that, I'm going to have to do all the things I've just said to get into that position there. And on the downswing, you'll feel like your shoulders are a little bit steeper on the way down than they are on the backswing into this kind of position here. And then as we come through, we come fully up into extension. So that's a wonderful drill there as well. I would focus on the backswing first, because that kind of needs to be in place first before you start working on the downswing piece. So another way to kind of integrate that all together, another good drill, is if you just get 2 alignment rods, if you have these handy, pop one through your belt loops and one across your shoulders. This is a fantastic one to get the understanding of how the body needs to move, particularly in the downswing. So as we move to the top of the swing, from here, the goal would be on the way down to try and get that top stick to tap the bottom stick behind there. So you notice to do that, I've got to stay in these tilts. I've got to have enough right side bend to do that. And if I don't have enough, you see how things are going to be very, very level, very difficult to get down to the ball. Probably going to early extend in that situation. So you want to really stay down. That's going to help you really compress that ball, make solid contact. So from this view to the top, then as we come down, I'm now adding right side bend, coming into impact, left ear's over the ball, and now you can really get into this solid impact position and then through onto the finish. So a couple of drills here, it's really going to help you get the understanding of how to tilt correctly, and just knowing that there's that blend of the three. So again, just video yourself to monitor that. Very hard to just see without getting that feedback, or have a coach or somebody who knows what they're doing have a look at you. You can, if you like, feel free to jump onto my website, dannymalcolmgolf.com, for online coaching. I'll be very happy to have a look at your swing and see how your tilts are. You can send me your swings through the app there online. But otherwise, guys, I really hope that's helped. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please post them below. And if you did enjoy the video, please consider liking and subscribing. Lots more great content to come. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.